Okay, let's figure out what the problem is. My camera, for some reason, does not want. All right. Now that everything is working the way it should, don't you love it when shows start out with technical difficulties? Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Welcome to tonight's headline expose of how to make technical screw ups. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for tuning in. Tonight on the hook, our standards. The very backbone of what it means to be a professional trucker. Currently in question and crumbling. And it's not just rust around the edges, folks. This is fraud, rot, and complacency eating away at the very core of our industry. We've got a system where the so-called CDL schools, or what I'll call training providers, are nothing more than diploma mills, pumping out licenses like a sausage grinder and putting unprepared drivers behind the wheel of an 80,000-pound missile. If you ask me, August 12th was perfect display of that. And the worst part, the people are supposed to be policing this, well, they're out there polishing their clipboards and they're telling you everything's fine, while the rest of us are out here sharing the highways with these frauds. Now, you know me. I don't just sit here and point out the obvious cracks in the foundation. I've got a sharp opinion about what I think needs to be done. First, what's going on, and what I think needs to be done. And it's one I think will make you think twice about what real solutions actually look like. But to get there, we've got to dig into the hard truth. Why is the system really failing? How big is this? And how the big players keep looking the other way. I'm talking about the government, corporate leaders, the men and women who are responsible for making these decisions to begin with. And finally, why people like you and me, who have built this industry from the ground up, we're the ones that will ultimately pay the price. So pay attention, because tonight's going to be a good show. And I really want you guys to see for yourselves what's going on in the headlines tonight. In the meantime, I'm glad you tuned in. I'm glad you joined us. As customary, I'll welcome you all. Greetings to you, truck lovers and truth seekers. My name is BossMan, the Chief Administrator and President of the Truth in Broadcasting Network. We're hosting a show that's looking into the trucking industry, story by story. On Headlines, we analyze each story for its merit, what it's worth, how it's written, what it means, and we bring it to you. We are news, opinion, and all things trucking. That is what I've represented this channel to be to you. I encourage you, even despite my technical flaws, join us. Become a member of our membership and become part of the collaborative think tank of advanced trucking journalism. I operate what is normally a smooth operation, less the technical difficulties. I like to think of this channel as critical thinking fueled by faith, sanctioned by God himself. If you're new here, take a moment, go down below, hit the like button. If you like what you see, become a subscriber, or join our membership. Meantime, I want to take one moment real quick to acknowledge somebody that's having a struggle, really needs your help. And he doesn't even know I'm mentioning him, but I've been following him for a while. Guy runs in and around Texas. His YouTube handle is Old Snapper. Guy I've been following for a while. He's got some pretty neat ideas on how to run a YouTube channel. He's not a very public man, but he's recently taken to YouTube and announced he's been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And a few of his recent videos have even been that of him from the hospital bed. So ain't much we can do for him because he's really in a bad way. But I figured I'd mention it because I followed this guy for a while. I like his content. I like how he thinks. I urge you to take some time when you're not watching me. Go over, give him a like, show him some love, give him a prayer, and let him know you're there. Us truckers, we have to look out for each other. We look out for our own. And if you happen to see this, Old Snapper, I want you to do your damnedest to fight this. Get through it, get back on the road, and win the day, my friend. I wish you Godspeed and a quick recovery. You'll notice recently my Frontline show has taken a little bit of a hiatus. But not fear, we will be back. I'm in the background right now of that program, kind of redesigning things, making improvements that hopefully when we come back online in another 2 weeks, will be better and brighter than ever. Our Frontline show is where I come up here and make a weekly review of the week in news that affects you in trucking. And it's your calling and opportunity to be the voice in trucking. If you want to know what others think, Frontlines is your place to go. If you want to know how things are being done, Truckin City is your place to be. So I encourage you now, if you like the real truth in broadcasting and in trucking news, go ahead and become a subscriber. Check us out. Usually on Saturday or Sunday, we host our Frontline shows. We'd love to have you, and we'd love to hear from you. This show here, we're taking all the media content from one specific story and one specific event, and we're having a conversation about what that means to you. So having given you the update, let's talk about why I think the standards are crumbling and that it's fraud that's tearing us down. Our standards, the very backbone of what it means to be a professional trucker, they're crumbling. And it's not just around the edges. Man, this is rotten deep, and it affects a lot of places. It affects every sector, and it affects a lot of lives. Right now, there are so-called providers acting like diploma mills, cranking out licenses like they're Cracker Jacks boxes, prizes. And they're putting unprepared drivers behind the wheel of an 80,000-pound missile. And where are the people that are supposed to say yay or nay? Absent and not to be found. The schools and the government currently, right now, as we speak, have rigor mortis. The system is rotten, clear down to the core. Let me tell you what the proof is. Let me show it to you. Hang on a second. I'll get to that in a minute. We'll come back to that. Of recent CDL schools that were either busted, audited, or under investigation, let's review some of these. Virginia, 5-star CDL training. Tests were poorly administered, that automatic failures were being marked as passes. The state had to come in and intervene, forcing hundreds of drivers to retest just to ensure that they were actually qualified to be on the road. Colorado, Randy Lopez CDL testing and training. Investigators uncovered hundreds of violations, including skipping entire parts of the exam and failing to record speeding violations during road tests. The result, 183 drivers were ordered to retest before they could legally drive again. Even my home state, North Carolina, cross-country truck driving. Fraud was so blatant that the state yanked their certificate right out. The school shut down without warning, leaving students stranded and licenses in question. Washington and Oregon. Who doesn't know about this place? Skyline CDL School. Ding, 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 ding. Guess where that one's known from? Just look no further than the U-turn case in Florida. This case looked like something straight out of a crime movie. Cash-stuffed envelopes labeled with students' birth dates sent to testers. Washington shut them down, but the fallout spilled into Oregon, where penalties and license transfers created chaos for honest drivers. Not that any honest drivers came out of that school. Pennsylvania, Vlad CDL School. The owner went to prison after it was revealed he'd been bribing examiners for years. Massachusetts, CDL unit. A sweeping corruption case revealed falsified scores, bribery, and systematic abuse of testing processes. Guilty pleas and prison sentence followed. The state was forced to downgrade licenses and do a lot to rebuild public trust. Lastly, third-party examiner in Ohio convicted of submitting false results to the state for drivers who had either failed or never showed up for tests. Case underscored how vulnerable the system was when overnight was either weak or non-existent. Folks, these cases aren't just random. They're too frequent. But it underscores a bigger problem. That this is a nationwide cancer. And the regulators, they're out to lunch. So here's where it gets personal. When these paper pushers had a license to someone who's never been tested, and they're just risking everything and putting these people through, they're risking your life, my life, and the lives of everyone in your family. This is the case where this stuff needs to stop. So let me ask you, and I've got the question queued up in the comments, in the chat right now. When you hear about these CDL schools getting caught cheating the system, what's your gut reaction tell you? Are you angry? Are you just stunned in disbelief? Or is it just confirmation of what I've said all along? That the system is broken and needs to be fixed, and fixed quick. Thumper, what do you say? We need some help here. And you know what? You would think the very people that are qualified to put people on the road would know better. But obviously they don't.
Well, you'd think that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, you, in order to go to a trade school to go be like a mechanic or something like that, you're in there for what, 2 years?
Yeah, I mean, look at all these schools. You know, Virginia, Colorado, North Carolina, Washington, Pennsylvania, all different circumstances, but they're all around the same thing. Someone designed a system or a workaround to fraudulently put more butts in seats, even though they don't have what it takes. I mean,
literally, it's about money, is what it is. If they could squeeze $2,000-3,000 out of a person, then throw them in a truck, and that's all it is. They're making money off of
it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a downright shame because, I mean, when it comes down to it, safety should be number one.
Should be. So that's literally what it comes down to. Oh, I could get $2,000-3,000 off of a person, and we're gonna push as many people as we can through as fast as we can. Oh, you could kind of drive a truck. All right, you're good. Here's your CDL.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, right? Wish you the best, literally. Welcome in, Rebecca Frazier. Glad you could join us tonight. Speaking of, Grumpy, what do you think about all this? Are you one of those that, you know, like everyone else thinks, okay, he's muted. All right, I'll come back to you. What about you, Dollar? What do you think? I mean, are you one of those in the same camp as me and Thumper, or do you have a different opinion?
Well, you know me well enough. I believe greed is the biggest problem of it all.
Yeah.
It's not doing it by quality, it's doing it by quantity.
Yeah.
And we already know that quantity doesn't get the job done with quality.
Right. Well, this is true. This is true. I'm wondering why I can't see something. There you go. How about another question for you guys to answer in the chat? Let me know what you think. Do you think that today's new drivers, those going through this system the way I just described, do you think they're victims, or do you think they're just equally as guilty? What do you think?
They're equally as guilty.
And why do you say that?
Because there's one school that I know of around my area. They do not schedule your tests until they're confident enough in you, and also you're confident enough to drive that thing and do whatever. They actually sit there and they spend the time to sit there with one-on-one training with the instructor.
Right.
You know, that it's even a college for other stuff too, like firefighters and stuff like that. So it's a very reputable college, and they take a lot of pride in that school.
Right.
So I mean, if there's schools out there like that will do the one-on-one and actually sit there and make sure that you're confident enough to be in the truck, then yeah, I mean, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Grumpy, what do you think? Do you think everybody's like the students? Do you think they're as much a victim, or do you feel like there's a little bit more than that going on? What do you think?
There's probably more behind the scenes that we're not seeing as usual. There's usually, that dust cloud covering stuff. But as far as students go, going to school, I mean, if it wasn't a very reputable school, anyhow, it's kind of sad that they would even try to go to school to it. And a lot of them are going to school to it because they want to think, oh, well, this is cheap for me. I can get a cheaper way to get my CDL and get out there and start working. It's, I say it's best to do your research before you jump in trying to give money to a school and want to go to school at some place. No matter if it's a truck driving school or going to get a college degree, do your research. Yeah, it makes sense.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I want to call out something that's glaringly obvious in case anybody hasn't really noticed or paid attention. But I mean, the very people that we entrust with the ability to make these judgments on what's good or bad, well, it's abundantly obvious, if nothing else, that they're asleep at the switch. I mean, it's not like evidence isn't there. We know the names, we know the schools, we know the cultures that are likely to fall into this. And, I'm not going in an ethnic or political route, but we know what's going on. But yet, it takes an episode like Florida Turnpike to put a 3-foot flame under somebody's butt, But yet, up until now, and even to a small degree, even now, the FMC acts like their hands are tied. They talk about process, they talk about due diligence, they talk about gathering data and doing the right thing. Meanwhile, the roads keep filling up with half-trained jackasses that have no idea what they're doing. And then you've got states like Texas and California that just want nothing to do with what's right. And we'll go on to that as another story sometime later on, but tell me in the comments, let me know personally, speak up the way you want. Are they asleep or are they just too comfortable? What gives here?
I believe you're given too much courtesy of being half-assed. Because if you're going to be, I believe they're both ways. You can be a victim and you can be the problem at the same time. Because one, these guys wouldn't keep doing it if if other places weren't so expensive. But nobody looks at that.
Yeah. I want to welcome into the audience a new face. First time I've seen the name. Trucker Steve, CDL instructor. Glad you can make the show. Your input's important. The FMCSA says no, CDL school should set up a student for their test. Should set up a student for their test unless such student is proficient in all skills. Problem is the word proficient doesn't appear on the form when a CDL school sets, and he goes on, ran out of the room apparently, a student up for the test. Good point. Glad you made that. Thanks to the FMCSA, we can set up students who barely can, and I think you're going to go speak the English language, I think, or maybe possess the skills. Your input's important, Steve. I'm glad you joined the show, and you know what? I may break protocol, and if you're willing, just let me know. I'll bring you up on the show. We'd love to have you as part of the panel here. Just say the word, and I'll send you a link. But I mean, it's abundantly obvious to me that not all schools are setting the bar where it's necessary. I mean, all the names I read earlier, I mean, good Lord, I'll bring that slide back up. I mean, it's ridiculous. All these schools, Virginia, Colorado, North Carolina, Washington, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, it's clearly an epidemic, and it's a problem, and it needs a solution. So, I mean,
that school that I was talking about, it's called Minnesota West.
Okay.
And they actually, when they do their stuff, you got to have X amount of hours in classwork, which is, I think, like 12 hours. And a lot of it's like going through, your pre-trips and stuff like that, how to work a log, blah, 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 your simple stuff. But as far as the driving stuff goes, if you've never been in a truck, it's like a minimum of 120 hours that you got to sit there and drive around with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, that school that I'm talking about, it's a good school. It's a good, reputable school.
Yeah. All right. 1 second, my lady behind the scenes. I'm gonna put up a banner. Just let it sit there for a minute. Steve, I understand you want to talk about your channel. Go ahead and put the link to your channel in the chat. I think it should go through. You'd be fine. But if you want, email the address down below. That's truckinnews@outlook.com. Steve, I'd like to have a little bit of a dialogue off the air and really hash this out. How do we solve the problem, and how do we become better? How do we make trucking great again? And I think the way to do it is through places just like yourself, schools doing the right thing. I'm attacking the bad ones out here, the bad actors. We need to get them off the roads. We need to get them out of the system, and we need to do the right thing here. And if behind the scenes I can get some input from you, that'll certainly help me make the case. And you can do your part for making trucking great again. So send me an email. That's truckinnews@outlook.com. And let's begin that dialogue. Let's do our part to make trucking great again. I'd certainly love to have you on if you're certainly welcome to it. Broken CDL trucking system. Yes, I've seen those videos. I've seen your channel. Now I know who you are. That now makes sense. I'm going to give you partial credit for the idea behind this because of you, I looked at a few articles. So I'll give you proper credit for that. So for that, thank you. That's how you make friends, and that's how you make a difference in trucking. So here's the thing. It's not just the regulators and the schools that are at fault here. Okay, because let's take this a little bit further. All right. And by the way, if you're going to do the banners, leave them up for about 30 seconds and then let them go. Just saying. It's not just the regulators, the carriers and the recruiters and the insurance companies. They're behind this too, because they see what's happening, and yet they're doing very little, or they're bogging themselves down in paperwork trying to change things. They know which schools are diploma mills. They know which ones are bad actors and problems. They know when paperwork doesn't match performance. But instead of raising the bar, they keep hiring. They keep filling a seat anyway, because as Thumper said a short time ago, it's all about the numbers. And dollar indicated. It's about the money, okay? And the insurers, they could cut them off.
I want to
Go ahead, Thumper.
I want to add to that when you said about the numbers. The government actually gives the school, and maybe I'm wrong, but I know some of them, the schools actually get money from the government if they push through so many people too.
Okay.
You know, it's just like any public school or college. You know, if they push through so many students, they get, you know, money from the government. I'm trying to think of the right way to put it, but you know what I mean.
Keep talking for a minute, because I'm looking up this fellow's YouTube channel. Give me just a second while I'm doing that.
Well, Stumper, we've seen you drive a truck for 100, and you still can't do very good.
Look who's talking.
Hey, is it just me, or I keep hearing like this real loud clicking bang bang sound?
It's coming from Dollar.
Is it? Okay. Well, I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'm not gonna totally throw the whole channel for that.
Yeah, I just thought it might have been on my
It's
end.
a little
I didn't know where
bit.
it was coming from.
It's a little bit annoying, but I can work my way past it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't know.
It's because of the area he's in.
Yeah.
I got you.
Trucker Steve, I just put your link up to your channel. So if you guys want to know more, just go to the link in the chat and you can see more about some of the issues he's concerned about and some of the things he's just referred to. You'll see it on his channel. I've seen his channel. I like some of his stuff. He's a good guy. So go check him out. Every chance we get, we help each other out. So you're doing a good job. Yeah, you're doing a good job, Steve. Keep it up.
Question is,
you're doing a good job.
My question to him is, did you drive truck before, or were you a dealer? How did you get your experience? That's always a question, because you can learn it out of a book, but to implement it, you need to have the miles behind you to trucked.
Now the question you're asking,
companies run 6 months.
The question you're asking, is that to Trucker Steve?
Yes.
He's been in. From what I recall of watching his videos, he's been in trucking a while. He's got a wide variety of trucking experience, and he's in his 70s. And my understanding is that now he's retired. But now, being where he's at, he's trying from where he's at to make a difference. That's what I gathered from the few videos I watched. So I can kind of feel the passion in his content. So yeah, I think he's on track to do something. I think he'll become a successful channel. So he put up another comment. He said government grants go to mega carriers and state-run colleges and some private schools, which is pretty much how they have done it. But he goes on to answer your question, Dumper, or Dollar. He's been trucking over 50 years. So good dialogue going on here. I appreciate that. Good to know.
It's a good question to ask.
Oh, it certainly is.
You have
certainly
people
is.
like that are in government that have trucking, making rules about trucking.
Yep. Go ahead and put the phone number up there. If you want to call the studio and have a dialogue with us about this or anything, call our studio line 860-785-3547, 860-785-3547. I'd like to move on to something I think you guys will probably kind of disagree with, but I'm going to get real strong, and I'm going to talk about what I think the solution is, okay? And basically, the solution starts with you and me, okay? It's what we do out here, all right? Because really, we're the backbone. We are what make or break trucking. Now, it stands to reason, if you train people only 10%, and you put a bunch of people out here that don't know what they're doing, the industry's going to go to hell. We've seen it happen.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Austin. No, you don't. Not clearly. You're gone. Grab the hook, dear. Take him out. No, never mind.
Yeah.
Austin, Chattanooga.
Hey, I get my license next week.
Y'all are stealing my thunder. Y'all suck, really. Chattanooga, Austin, Turnpike in Florida.
Not as bad as you.
Yeah, right. Bite me. Morgantown, West Virginia. I mean, the examples go on and on and on. All these people. I mean, everyone picks on the fact that they're foreigners. But let's look deeper into how they got in the system to begin with. Forget the visa. Forget the ethnicity. Forget the language barrier. Forget anything else. They had to get a CDL somehow. Right? I had a viewer on a previous video last night ask me a very interesting question. And I think I know the answer, but if you don't, or if you do, tell me now. Let me know if I'm wrong. But the question was, how do people from foreign countries come into this country and get a CDL without taking a course or an exam or proving to an examiner that they can do the job?
Right here, what I'm doing.
Well, that's part of it,
Yeah.
but that's the back end of it.
Hold on. So if, like, say I were to go over to Germany, I have a Class A CDL here in the States,
Right.
and I'm over there for work. My
Right.
CDL is valid over there. So if they have a license in a different country, whether it's however their government works, it's valid over here.
Oh my word. StreamYard is giving me a fit right now.
That's what happened to me. That's why I went bye-bye earlier. I was like, huh, okay, fine. Maybe I didn't need to be part of this show.
No, I'm trying to move windows around, and StreamYard's just saying, nope, you can't do it. I know it's StreamYard because...
So yeah, that's why a lot of people will come over here, because their license is valid in their country. It's technically valid over here. It's just like the Canadians coming down here for loads. Their CDLs are valid in the United States. It's no different.
Yep.
So that's why they don't have to take school. That's why, like, oh, I got a CDL. They go in, they have their work visa, they get it transferred to a state, United States.
But they should be required to, at least at the basic level.
They should, yes. They should,
yeah.
but it's not required.
Right.
So, maybe they need to start requiring it, and stuff will probably change a lot.
Okay, here's a good example of this, what we're just talking about. If you wind up going to another state, say if I left Oklahoma and I went to, I don't know, Montana, and I decided that I wanted to reside there, they're going to make me take a driving test.
No, they don't.
Not
in Montana.
Well, I'm using shut up. I'm trying to use it for an example.
Hold on. North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Nebraska, Wyoming, you do not have to. Minnesota, you used to have to retake your driving test, even for a regular driver's license. You used to be able to do that, but they overruled it where you don't have to anymore.
Okay, you're stealing his thunder. Let him finish his hypothetical.
No, I don't want him to give false information.
He's not.
I'm using it as an example.
Yeah, because I want to hear the hypothetical he's posing play out.
I know where he's going with it.
What Mr. Down here stole my thunder, basically. Anyhow, used to, whenever you went to another state, if you left your current state you resided in where you were licensed, you had to actually take another physical driving test to make sure, and also a written test to make sure that you knew what their laws were for that state, and also that you knew how to drive properly in that state. But for some reason, like Thumper was saying, they decided, oh, don't need it no more. And I believe that if they're going to let people from other countries come here, first things first, they need to be vetted. They need to be sent through a school of some sort that's properly endorsed here in the United States, that will teach them stuff that they need to know and be aware of, like they make sure they can properly read and everything and understand and comprehend. Make sure they're able to understand that when they're going through the mountains that they got to do proper shifting and use their air brake, or not their air brake, use their
engine brake,
Jake brake, whatever you want to call it, and all that needs to be properly trained to them. and to be honest with you, they really need to have somebody that's got at least a minimum of 10 years out here on the road to do that, a minimum, so that they can say, okay, I think you're ready. Otherwise, someone like myself, I'd be like, well, I think you need a little more time behind the wheel with me and work with them, because just throwing them out here like they're doing is wrong.
Wait till you hear my solution, because I'm going to get into what I think will work, and I want to hear from you guys whether you think I'm over the top or not. We'll get into that in just a minute.
That's a good movie. That's a good movie, by the way.
Oh, yep. And we'll get into that in just a moment. In the meantime, I want to acknowledge Mr. Sandman. Good evening. I was raised around trucks with 20 years experience, and it's nice that somebody speaking for the drivers. That's our job. Trucking City is all things trucking. We work to make trucking great again. We do it through this program, Truckin Headlines. I occasionally put out episodes of Behind the Wheel where I talk about things to help you improve your day, get along better, and become a better trucker. And on the weekends, when it's back on live, I give you guys the opportunity to call in and make a difference through something called Truckin Frontline. Certainly welcome you to become part of the experience. We intend to grow because you guys need that help, and you certainly need the representation. So I want to welcome in a guy named James saying hi to Grumpy, whoever that is, and give one more shout out.
Hello, James. How are you tonight?
Biden-Harris Trucking Act, cutting the red tape, getting new truckers into the seat. Well, we need to put the brakes on that one. We need to seriously put the brakes on that.
So we got Dollar and I were talking the other day. We have one solution to a lot of problems.
I'll give away your secrets now.
All I'm going to say is Thumper and Dollar for president and VP.
Okay.
What am I, the press secretary?
You're trying to copycat me and John? Is that what you're doing?
No, actually for the government.
Oh, that ought to be interesting.
I'm going to crawl down in the hole, the deepest hole I can find then.
You
guys want to call us while we're live? Go ahead and give us a call. Studio line 860-785-3547. Let us know you're out there. Tell us what you think.
James, if you're still with us. Yeah. James, if you're still with us, you're welcome to call. This is BossMan over here. Yeah. He's a great guy, and we'd love to hear your opinion, because I know you're in working with diesels and stuff like that quite a lot. It would be nice to hear something from you. So give us a call.
Yep. You can call the studio line, or if you're feeling froggy, we'll make other arrangements.
Ribbit.
So
are good.
I hinted earlier that the fix starts with us. Now, think about it. Imagine if every one of us, as a rookie, okay, think back to when you first started, all right, had someone like a veteran or a mentor in their corner, somebody to teach them the unspoken rules, the things that no classroom can teach you. Now, there are plenty of channels out there that claim to do that, which is fine. But you cannot learn everything you need to know about moving an 80,000-pound missile in an industry as diverse as trucking through a YouTube channel. You can't learn it all, okay? But peer mentoring isn't just a feel-good idea. It's the kind of grassroots solution that could raise the bar overnight. Stay tuned, because I've got an idea that involves that I think will knock you on your feet. Really, knock you on your ass, really. No federal grants, no federal agents, no corporate handouts, just truckers helping truckers. A grassroots way of actually solving the problem. And we can't solve every problem out here, but I think there's a way of making a dent. Tell me in the comments what you think. If you think of an idea and you think of something, I want to hear from you, because it really takes, honestly, taking over the industry, I believe. And I've got a way of doing that. What do you guys think? Just a prelude to this. What do you guys think I'm going to suggest? Any guesses?
Dollar hookers won't work.
Leave it to you, right? Seriously, Thumper, what do you think I'm going to suggest? Where do you think
my
mind is going to go?
You want to quit to get foggy over here.
Froggy or Foggy?
For you. You quit thinking.
You're probably going to say kick everybody out and go back to the old way.
Well, you've heard me use the term reset, but kind of my idea is kind of that.
I don't know, but this is just...
Currently the school system that we have doesn't work, so...
This is just something it's bugging me. I got to get it out of here. I have to, okay? That's my job. Thumper, did you fart really hard because the paint's peeling off that place behind you?
No, that's what happened. That's what happened. Hold on. It gets worse.
Oh my. Okay, well, I'll just remember that.
That's what happens. This is what happens when a trucker sits at home and has nothing to do. But no, my house needs to be
quit getting bored.
Yeah, my house needs to be repainted. That's next summer's project.
Yeah, we can only handle one
siding or
time, right?
Oh yeah, my kitchen, it's bad.
Wow.
Wow.
This was tore out 7 years ago, the ceiling.
Hey, it's bad.
My goodness.
It doesn't look good.
Like, yeah, there's the rest of all my cabinets, the floor, the door, yeah.
The hell with living inside the house, just move everything outside.
I got my trash trailer right there.
Oh my.
No, I'm finally getting to putting sheetrock, tearing out all the plaster and everything out of the kitchen, and finally putting it back up after 7 years.
Awesome. All right, well,
that's only a day. That's only a day that I did all that.
Yeah. Wow.
Let boss take your show back over. I had to. It was just sitting there on my brain.
Yeah.
No, when I bought this house 8 years ago, they repainted it, and it was like November when they painted it. That's what happens when it gets 40 below out and the paint wasn't dry all the way. It cracks off.
Oh wow. Huh.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Well,
guys.
Do it.
Yeah. Come on, computer, stop doing this crap to me.
Last week I reorganized my garage and I found so many tools I didn't know I had.
Did you find 10 millimeter?
Oh, I got more 10 millimeters than the tool house.
All right, guys.
You haven't found your marble.
All right.
Enough chatter about that.
Out of all the tools and everything I own, I do not own a funnel. Let's get that clear.
All right, enough of that for now. These people don't want to hear about funnels. These people want to hear about solutions. So here's my thought on solutions that will really move the needle. First off, increase training hours. In Canada, you currently have to qualify through their MELT program 130 hours. Or, no, excuse me, I'm wrong, 160 hours. I think Poet told me. He'll chime in, I'm sure, if I'm wrong, 160 hours. Here in the States, it's 150 hours. It's our ELDT program. I propose that be more than doubled, almost tripled if necessary. I don't think 75 hours of theory, 75 hours of over-the-road training is enough. I think it needs to be at a minimum doubled. And that's where I'm going to start. I would consider tripling it. But hold on, I'm not done yet, okay? I think we need to make CDL schools independent. Currently, they're sponsored through some of the mega carriers. They're run by some of the mega carriers. And there's affiliations between companies, recruiters, and schools with even more of them. I say we cut the ties. No more carrier-owned mills pumping out unprepared drivers. We get these CDL schools on their own and responsible to no one other than the federal government. That's it. In order for a school to run, tell me, Trucker Steve, would you have a problem with answering to the FMCSA or the DOT by just virtue of one report? This is how many students I passed. This is what I made them do. Boom, that's it. If you had to answer to that, instead of the people hiring, I think that's a step in the right direction. I'll come back to your comment if you're leaving one. I'm on a separate screen. I'm only, so fast with this live thing. Furthermore, I think it needs to be backed up by mandatory audits by a dedicated watchdog, something equal to Doge. Okay? A full year with a veteran mentor. Oh, wait a minute. That's the next step. Let me back up. Regular unannounced checks. And if you fail, we're going to shut you down. And we're going to make you reapply and prove that you know how to instruct your students. It's real simple. You either know your game or you don't. But if you fail once, boom, gone. That's it. You're done. And if you answer to the government, they're the ones that make the decision. And we don't get these people out here making U-turns in Florida, killing people. The one I think Thumper's going to like, mentorship for everyone. And I'm not saying a short-term thing. I'm talking a long-term thing. All right? A full year with a veteran mentor, someone that's willing to take the time to give you the instruction you need, to give you the vision you need, to give you the right and wrong. They don't have to be up your ass every day. They just need to be responsible to regular check-ins, regular questions and answers, Zoom calls, whatever. We can work out those details. This is just an idea. Don't curse me and don't stab me yet. But a full year with a veteran mentor, somebody that you are responsible to. And hey, if you're looking to get in this business, don't be riding coattails for free. You want that mentor, you need that mentor, you're going to pay for it. You know what? I think that goes a long way to solving some of these problems. No more getting in and just half-assing everything. Causing Austin, having Chattanooga, whatever else. We can get away from, happy to hear that here. We can get away from these drastic accidents like Colorado and, all these accidents. It starts with us, people. It actually starts with the FMCSA, but, hey, we can't have perfection, right? They don't move fast, neither do we, but I don't know. What do you think? Put in the comments if you think I've missed anything. Dollar, what do you think? Do you think I've missed anything? Would you like to add to it, or what do you think?
Well, the question is how many guys out here that have drove truck experience to be a mentor, and you want them to run with them or be in the same truck? How many of them can sleep with somebody else driving their truck?
I'm not saying live with the guy. I am not saying that. All I'm saying is mentor. How often do you run across circumstances where you want an answer to a question, but you're too afraid to ask? If you've got someone that you call a mentor that's not going to give you shit for asking the question, wouldn't you be more willing to ask that question? You don't have to live with the guy. You don't have to run his truck. You just need to be able to count on somebody steering you in the right direction. That's all that means.
I do that now. People, you got a question? Yeah, I'm going to pick on you because that's me. But I'm also going to.
Well, that's just how truckers are. But what were you going to say, Grumpy?
I got to be a trainer for a little bit, and it happened when I signed up and everything. That's whenever this goofy pandemic happened, and I trained one gentleman, and he had about 6 months experience driving, but he just didn't know the ropes real good. So right. I took him in my truck, and I kept him for almost a month with me, and he's turned out quite well. I haven't heard from him in a while because I think he had some health issues come up or something. But while he was out there, though, he became a successful owner-operator for a while. He did well until his truck decided to blow its engine, and he was pretty safe out there and stuff. So, I mean, it all depends on who the mentors are, too. because you got to get somebody that's got a good record behind them. You don't want to just stick them with somebody that's been driving out here and has got speeding tickets and overweight tickets and all that. You need to have a good mentor. And I'm not bragging, but I'm saying I've had a clean record for 25 years of my driving career, and I would be successful in doing something like that. Plus, you have to be a people person, so you need to be able to be orientated to work with somebody. You can't just go off the handle on them and just like, get out of my truck. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So they would need to vet.
Yeah,
people.
Trucker Steve actually brings up a good point. So let me capitalize on that, Trucker Steve. You say the ELDT program has been watered down, and the FMCSA doesn't enforce the rules. Well, we all know that. You say that the FMCSA is a big part of the problem. So who then would, and I'd like to hear your suggestion, who then do you think would be a better watchdog? Do you think that would maybe be in the purview of, say, Elon's department, DOJ, as I suggested earlier, or maybe DOT? Where should we put the responsibility of audits if the FMCSA can't do it?
You want my opinion?
What would your thought be, Steve? I'd like to hear your suggestion. Yeah, what do you think, Grumpy?
Honestly, I would love to have a position to do something like that, because I'm, like I said, 25 years commercial driving, good driving record. I would love to have an option to be able to do something like that, to where I could work with these people and see and get things changed around to where it's more user friendly, but at the same time it's still keeping us going with our laws and regulations to where they're not breaking them. Because if you don't, if you don't get somebody that's experienced, and you just stick some peon in there doesn't know anything about the trucking industry at all, you're wasting your time. You really are. And that's what they're doing. They keep hiring in these people that really don't know much about the trucking industry, that are just pencil pushers.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
Yeah. It happens.
Very good question.
Everybody makes mistakes, and that's part of the thing. See, on this show, I like to think everybody can learn from their mistakes, and that's the thing. If you make a mistake, own up to it, grow from it, become better for it. If you guys want to contribute to the show, go ahead and give us a call. Our studio line, 780-785-3547.
Yeah.
If you like the show and you like what you see so far, take a moment, go down below, hit that like button. But right below that is a join button. If you'd like to support someone like myself who is giving out nothing but the best in opinion, news, and information and advice to you when you ask, go ahead and hit our memberships. You got two ways. Ditto Head membership. Currently, I've got Don, Griff. Those guys are getting early advance access to videos. I release them early to members, but on a timely basis to the regular viewers and subscribers. And to our founding members, to our TIB, you guys get the newsletter once a month and call outs. I mean, there's a whole host of perks. Go down, click the button, learn what the perks are, but that's our way of being supported. That's our way of knowing you guys care and you guys want to make trucking great again. So definitely do your part. I welcome you if you do, and thank you in advance. In the meantime, a couple more questions. There's a lot going on when you unpack all the stuff that's really going on behind the scenes here. Once again, my computer.
I do have a question.
What's that? Go ahead.
I want to know what my driving record has to do with whether I can teach. I've had speeding tickets. I've had overweight tickets. I've had no tickets. I've had over axle tickets. Still doesn't mean I'm not a good driver.
That's not what I was saying, Dollar. It doesn't mean that you're not a good driver. What that shows is that it's more professional looking. from a professional standard looking, you would, okay, if you wanted to hire me to come drive your truck that you own and pay big money for, are you going to hire someone that's got a bunch of driving record problems with tickets and things first, or are you going to hire somebody like myself that has had a clean record for 25 years?
Granted, my insurance company will be going, he's got a clean record. But at the same
your
time,
insurance company, your insurance is going to be cheaper.
Downhill.
So that's kind of what I was kind
told me it didn't matter if I had somebody with 6 tickets in the last 6 years versus a driving record. It's the same price.
Okay.
Thanks. Nice to see that you're with us tonight, Soul Stitches. Glad you could join us. Trucker Steve continued on with
per person to put on there.
Yeah. Trucker Steve continued on with his comment from earlier, or maybe answering my question. So the FMCSA must change the wording in the form when the CL school sets up its students for testing. Add the word proficient. Set up a system where the students can sue if the school fails them. No, see, that's just the thing. I agree with your explanation on the proficiency part of it, but there should be no option for suing them if they fail. They shouldn't fail. If the student possesses, what's the word I'm looking for? If the student possesses qualities that demonstrate that they cannot do the job, fail them and get rid of them. See, the problem is instructors in schools nowadays are feeling bad because these students are investing thousands of dollars and they're putting their life savings into the hand of a CDL examiner who may be in a good mood, who may not be. So a lot of times, some of these schools, when treated right, are being told to look the other way. And the problem is, by doing what you're suggesting, you put the onus on the student. He's got to go out there and kill somebody first and then turn around and sue somebody. No. What I'm saying is, let's cut the head off the snake. Let's not even give it the opportunity to fester and become a problem. It's already a problem. Let's cut it off before it gets worse. So I think we need to reinforce in a positive way the ability that these schools, if you guys want to keep being a school, you need to do your job. And that's have an assessment. In order for you to get into college, you've got to take an assessment exam. And in order for that college to give you the degree you want, you don't just walk through and sit in class. You have to take an exam, and that exam basically sets you up for the furtherance of your degree. It gives the student applying the idea, okay, are they proficient in math? Can they read, write, and spell? Do they know trigonometry? Do they know this? Are they better at science than they are at psychology? Are they better at physics than they are at civics? Whatever. That sets them up for the direction their degree needs to go in. Well, I say we need to do the same thing with these CDL schools because not everybody who walks through the door can do the job. So if you take that assessment seriously and just look at the student before the first class and say, dude, you're just not cut out for it. Find another profession. Dude, you can't do this. That would save a lot. Not that I disagree, not that I'm mad. I'm just, I'm from New York. I talk that way. But, honestly, you cut it off before it becomes a problem. So he goes on, anyone can start a school, every CDL school self-certified their quality. That's what I think needs to stop. This self-certification crap. Thank you for bringing that up. No more self-certifying. You need to prove to somebody you can do the job. How hard is that? Steve, you know. That is not a hard thing. If you've got to prove you can do the job, then someone who trained you to do the job has got to prove that you can be trained. You get the point? The old expression, shit flows downhill. You got to walk up the hill somehow. I think that's really honestly where we're going. And I hate to pick on you, but, I think that's where we need to go here. With all this fraud here, do you guys, we know what Steve thinks. Do you guys think the FMC is simply Do you think the FMCSA is simply overwhelmed? I mean, do you think my idea about Doge, do you think that bears merit? What do you think? Grumpy, what do you think?
Just like I was trying to tell you a while ago, I mean, that's what I would do is honestly somebody that's able to go through and vet a lot of this stuff and
I think
make sure that it's going to be.
I think that click's coming from your mic because it didn't happen. You unmuted and it started happening.
Are you sure?
Mute yourself again. Dollar, go ahead and mute yourself for a minute. Let me see. I'm playing with ideas here. Just trying to see who it is.
It's Dollar.
Well, I thought it was you for a minute, but you're right. Dollar, you can unmute yourself. I don't care. I know where it's coming from. It doesn't bother me, but I wanted to answer the question. That's all. I'm not crazy. Neither is my show.
Are you sure?
Good point, Dollar.
The second opinion is out.
Yeah, right.
I believe you're headed in the direction of everything, but the problem is if you go to cut the head of the snake off, it's going to get worse before it ever gets better. Because your is going to go into a struggle and people are going to do what they have to get where they, and as soon as you firm everything back, get it back in line, the people to make a quick buck are going to disappear.
Yeah, true that. He goes ahead and adds, CO schools don't want to let the unqualified students go. They want the money. Well, I know they're in for the money, but you know what? Money's great until you get busted. Because, see, that's the problem. That's the problem we've got. Virginia, Colorado, North Carolina, Washington, all those schools aren't in business anymore. Or if they are, they're paid, what, hefty fines? How did that work out for you? I mean, from everything I'm seeing and the videos you're creating, the school you run is at least accountable to doing the right thing. But think about the amount of schools out there that aren't. Think about the people that are products of those schools that are taking wrong turns and doing crazy crap like the Florida Turnpike and Austin, Texas, and killing 5 people. We got to stop this. As a third-party Steve CDL tester, I have failed students who could not drive, and some testers will let them pass. Well, you have it on your conscience, my friend, that you did the right thing. And this industry needs more people like that. Because at the end of the day, it's a conscience that really makes everything work the way it is. So let's summarize real quick. Tonight, we've talked about 7 different schools and a segment of the government that so far hasn't done enough to turn the ship around. What I say we need to do, and I mean this politely, is take into deep consideration the fact that the testing system and school system currently in place needs a reset. We need to increase training hours. We need to increase the brevity by which they do the testing. We need to cut off permanently the foreign influence in this industry and not put people that can't speak the language behind the wheel of these trucks by virtue of free CDLs. We need to increase the amount of audits, and we need to at least expand on a mentorship program that guarantees that people not only have the basic experience and understanding, but have at least an idea what's involved in becoming an owner-operator versus a driver and really doing the job. And when we're armed with the information and when we know what we're doing out here, we can do everything in our power to make trucking great again. Who's with me? Let me get an amen. I think that's a good place to start and a good way to help make a difference in this industry. What do you think? Grumpy, what do you think?
Yeah, I say amen big time on that one, because that's one of our biggest issues is allowing all these people coming in that don't understand our language to where they can fully be able to operate the vehicle in a proper fashion. And and I hate to say it, with the majority of the trucks that they're operating, about 90% of them at least, minimum, I'd say are automatics. So, I mean, you just kick it over to gear and go, and that's what they think. They don't understand that they got all that weight and
old
stuff
days versus new days. That's a whole new video, a whole different show. We can go there another time. Grumpy, how do people find you these days?
How do they find me? Well, they can find me here on the YouTube as Grumpy Giggles. They can find me over there on the Tickum, as I'll call it. I'm Grumpy Giggles there. They can find me on Facebook here as Grumpy Giggles, and I'm also known as still the Grumpy Old Trucker on my page and on
Facebook.
my Facebook group.
Right. All right, Grumpy, appreciate that. Thank you for your opinion. Stick around after the show. We'll have a word with you later on. Dollar, what do you got to add? I mean, other than all the suggestions, anything else comes to mind as far as making a difference and getting qualified bodies behind the wheel? What do you think? Alrighty then. Somebody put him backstage. Let's try that again.
Apparently my service went down the toilet.
Well, you're here with us now. So what do you think? What do you have anything else to add to make a difference and help make trucking great again?
We're in the right direction. We got a long way to go. And I'm going to say it anyway, Thumper for president, me for vice president. Please, willingly, one of these days we'll get a mailbox and you can send us money to help us get into office. We're not running as Democrats. We're not running as Republicans. We're running as truck drivers that we don't know what we're doing, but we can try it.
Right. Well, last question I'll ask you. This is a good one. Would you consider, if you were ever approached by a school or somebody else in the industry, would you take a rookie under your wing if the system actually compensated you for your time and knowledge? Would it be something you'd entertain?
I wouldn't do it for the compensation. I would take a rookie as long as the rookie is willing to learn.
Good to know.
If I don't believe he's willing to learn, I don't want to help him.
Okay, makes sense to me. Dollar, how can people find you, my friend?
Oh, they can find me on TikTok at Last Dollar. They can find me on Discord, also on YouTube.
Okay.
And I'm out here doing my deal up and down the road.
There you go. God bless you. Glad you could be with us tonight. Stick around after the show. We got more coming. Thumper, what do you think? I mean, honestly, people need to actually take some time and think this through.
They do. Really. They need to think it through. We need to come up with a better system than what we have now, because it's only getting worse.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, said it time again. We stick together. We keep stomping our feet like 2-year-olds. We'll get somewhere eventually. Yep. I don't know what else to do.
What's one lesson you think every rookie driver needs to learn right on day one? What would be that one thing you tell them?
How dangerous the machines are. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're literally driving 80,000 pound plus machines down the road. Yep. I mean, it's just like a heavy equipment operator. They got to take classes and everything else. And maybe that's something we need to start enforcing. You got to start doing certifications for stuff. I don't know. I mean, we got to figure out how to make it safer for us and our families. And, I got little ones. I want to come home to them all the time. So, yes, sir. I mean, a lot of us do have kids. And,
yes, sir.
That's kind of where my saying comes from, Yeah. And on that note, God bless everybody. The EMTs, firefighters, military personnel, they don't get the love they deserve. And also, I've said this before, interesting fact, majority of truck drivers are veterans. So,
very true.
You know,
very true.
We're out here making a living just like everybody else. So, yeah, like I said, EMTs, firefighters, police, they don't get the love that they deserve. They actually get a lot of hate, and we're just out there trying to do a job. So, thank them too. And one other thing, just like I always say, we don't do it just for us and our families. We do it for you guys.
Well said and well thought out. We can look for you where?
You can find me on YouTube, Thumper and Bowl, TikTok, Thumper and Bowl, Discord, I'm over there, Truckers Unhinged. Me and Dollar run the page. We have a podcast Wednesdays at 7:30. Well, try to at 7:30. We're still working out some issues and stuff. So yeah, you can always find us there. Discord, yeah, TikTok, YouTube, all that. So that's how you can find us.
God bless it. You find us here every night with headlines or trend lines on the weekends. We are here doing our part to make trucking great again. Remember, trucks make the delivery, but it's you that makes the difference. Until next time, my friends, do everything you can to keep the faith, keep it real, and keep it rolling.